All right, so we are live on Amazon. If you are someplace else that is not amazon.com/live watching this, come on over to Amazon and join us because we're going to have fun with author Greg Artkop. And I'm going to have him pronounce his name when we get back on here in a moment, just so we know. But he's got a book out, a children's book, and it is gift giving season. So, what could be better than a book on barbecue? And I've got these great notes here that says that he has visited 50 of the top barbecue places in Texas twice in 4 years. And he's traveled over 15,500 miles, eating more than 100 pounds of smoked meats. He's my kind of man. And it's fair to say that he has a passion for barbecue. So we've got his book here, Baby's First BBQ. It's doing really well. It is a top seller and the best seller for kids' humor, for barbecue grilling, hot new barbecue books. This is number two in hot new kids humor, and it is number one in the hot new cooking humor. Let's take this off so we can see who this remarkable person is.
Back here celebrating. You're awesome. Stuff, man.
Well, let me just let me put this little banner up so people can say, look, we have got your book right here, Baby's First BBQ, highlighted in the carousel. We're here live on Amazon, and this is the time where you got to find the right gift for somebody. And I love books on Amazon because you go in, you hit add to cart, you go to checkout, and you say, let me send this to Greg. And here's his address. And your gift giving is done. No wrapping paper. It just shows up. You're the hero. But with that, Greg, let's have you introduce yourself. Tell us where in the world you are, because barbecue says something special.
Well, I wish that I was in a barbecue joint, to be very honest with you. I mean, sitting where I am right now with this beautiful fake backdrop, it makes me hungry. No, I'm in Texas. I live up in the Dallas area, and as you were saying, I have been to all of the top 50 barbecue joints in the state a couple of different times, and really that's part of what inspired me to do the book, which is honestly, it's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun creating it, and I can't wait to tell you more.
Well, great. Hold it up there. Let's take a look at that cover there.
There you go.
Baby's First BBQ. This is just the perfect size. You know, if you got kids, grandkids, nephews, nieces, you have friends that were kids that have kids. Maybe once you were a kid, buy the book. So, how did you? I mean, you're in Texas. I've been to Texas, and there's true barbecue in Texas. I live in Oregon. It is hard to find a place that actually makes barbecue. And they'll go, "Oh, it's real Texas style," and I'm like, "Yeah, whatever."
Yeah,
Texas sounds like Texas to me. What makes barbecue? What makes it?
That's a really, really good question. And I'm going to answer it this way, Scott. You know it when you have it. And part of the reason why I'm answering you that way is because I've been to so many of these places that when I go someplace that's not of that caliber, it's obvious. And and I'll tell you, I was with a group of friends of mine a couple months ago, and they were like, "We got to go to this restaurant." I'm not going to tell you where it was because I don't want anything.
Okay.
But they were like, "You got to go to this restaurant. It's a new place. It's really great." And I said, "All right, well, let's go take a look." And we got in, sat down. They were like, "Well, what do you want to order?" So I said, "Well, you want to get turkey, because turkey generally dries out really fast, right? So if they take care of turkey, that's fine. Most barbecue joints, at least in Texas, if they're really good, brisket is kind of table stakes at this point. And then sausage, I always get sausage. So I was like, all right, well, we'll get that. So they bring it out, put it on a plate in front of me, and I just looked at it and I knew. And they were like, "What do you think?" And I was like, "Turkey's dry, brisket's dry. Just don't like the way that they pack that sausage over there. It just looks too tight." And they all started to eat on it, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, this is just not good." And I was like,
Mhm.
"Well, I mean, any day in a barbecue joint is good.
Right.
Any barbecue is good, but you just know, Scott. You just know."
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because, as I say, you know it when you see it. And I like chicken. I like chicken,
Sure.
and so I like to order the combo plate too, right? 'Cause, it's not just one thing. There's a variety, and there's different textures and, consistency and
Well, and there's so much creativity in it now. So
Mhm,
so when I first started to do this, actually the story behind that is my youngest daughter graduated from high school, and so my wife and I were empty nesters. And
mhm,
right about that time, Texas Monthly, which is like the Bible of barbecue joints in the state of Texas, they came out with their top 40 list, and I told her, I said, we need to go do this.
yeah.
Top 50, excuse me. We need to go see all of these barbecue joints. This will be so much fun. We'll go travel all around the state and do all this. And it took me about 3 years to
Mhm,
go to every place. But if you've been in Texas before, and most people when they visit Texas, it's the big cities, right?
sure. Yeah.
So I'm going to El Paso and I'm going down to Brownsville and I'm in McAllen and I'm in Beaumont and I'm far, far East Texas. I'm in places that I have never been before. I've been in Marfa was one of the places I had to go to this last time, which now ironically I've been to Marfa 3 times since that one time that I went, not all for barbecue. It's just kind of weird with work, but it exposed me to different styles of barbecue, to just different feeling in all of these different cities. And you really come to understand Texas and how big Texas is just from going and doing this. And it sounds ridiculous to say, but Texas is a big state. Texas is like 4 states split in, and you can be in the northeast part and it's radically different from the west, radically different from the south, central. It's all over, so you get all
Well,
sorts
it's
of different
it's
barbecue.
funny. I was in, San Antonio. No, not Sus well, I was in San Antonio. San Angelo. I was in San Angelo, Texas,
Yep.
and, I think there was, like, 90,000 people, a town of, like, 90,000 people, and, just to give people a scale, to drive from, San Angelo to El Paso, it's 8 hours. Now
Yeah.
now now if you were gonna if you had a map and you were gonna take a compass and you wanted to draw a circle around the state of Texas, you'd put the point on San Angelo.
Yeah.
This gives people that town, 90,000, about 250. The
Ugh,
friendliest, nicest people that I ever met, right? I mean,
yeah.
they're just like, "Hey, we're doing this thing after church on Sunday. Why don't you come on over or come on to our house and you stay with us and bring
Yeah.
your family with you?" And, I mean, there's definitely, old school American welcoming values, uh,
Definitely.
when you
Well,
go
and
around.
again, you're in a very, very big state, right? So you
Yeah.
you find pockets of that all over the place. Um, so what I learned, frankly, when I began to do this and was going into a lot of these different cities, is the people that are barbecue aficionados that really
Mhm,
know this, they will line up and they will wait for hours for barbecue. And the first one that I ever went to, and most people know about this, of course, is Franklin Barbecue down in Austin,
mhm.
real famous. And I think I got there the first time that I ever went at 6 a.m. And I was the 11th person in line. And I was shocked because I was like, who wakes up? Who wakes up this early?
Yeah, yeah.
But it was 6 a.m. and
Mhm.
there I was, and there was a guy up at the front who had been there for 2 hours, I think already. There were some kids who somebody would slip $20 so that they'd go stand in line for
I
them.
got you. Yeah.
That was
Mhm.
back in the day. That I don't think they allow that anymore. And then, a few other people there. One fellow that was with me, actually right in front of me, was a producer, a movie producer in LA, and he wanted to come experience it. And then we had some college kids who didn't make it very far. They had a cooler and they passed out. I think it was about 9 or 10 a.m., if I'm not mistaken, and then they got back up by the time that it was ready to eat. But it was a very friendly opening
Mhm,
experience for me within barbecue, and people were just talking about where they had been, what they liked, what they didn't like, and that was a really new experience for me.
mhm.
um, for a couple of reasons. Lexington, and I don't know if you've ever heard about that place, but
Mm-mm.
that's a trip. You need to go to Snows. Um, but I had been.
And that's a huge thing.
Oh,
You're laughing.
no, I'm laughing because you're right on it. If you look at all the books that are out there about barbecue,
Yeah.
there ain't nothing like this book.
Right.
And it's because they talk about what it means to cook a brisket, how
Mhm,
challenging that can be. And the more that I looked at that, the more that I realized, I'm never going to be an expert on something like that.
mhm.
I know how to eat it, I know how to make it, but I'm not a competition barbecue guy. And so standing in those lines, it really taught me about those people who were there. And it hit me. It's like, this is barbecue lifestyle. That's what this
Yes.
is. There's a whole another world going on within this of people who follow the chefs and go to the barbecue joints and just you know, rave about all of this.
Yeah.
It's they collect experiences, right? And that was why where the idea for the book came from. I had a friend who made a crack about, well, you need to do something about baby's first barbecue, and I was like, I'm going to. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. So,
Let me put this up here so people can see it. There it is, Baby's First Barbecue, and, we're gonna talk about some of the journey on this book. But I love you've got the, baby bottle, the pacifier, looks like cornbread, you got some great meat there, uh, Baby's First Barbecue. I can't think of a better way to wean a child off of, the ground up whatever is inside those jars.
well, so it's funny that you say that. So the when I've talked to different people about the book, and when I wrote this in my mind, it was like my target market is mom, right? Or a
Mhm.
young mom, or someone going to a couple's shower, right?
Sure.
And I was like, and you ask them, you go, all right, well, are you going to buy for a couple shower rubs and sauces?
Right.
And the woman will go, no. And I
Sure.
go,
Whoa. Well, Greg will join us back in a moment here. I think we just had a momentary glitch on that. So there we go. We're gonna bring Greg back here in just a moment. There we go.
sorry about that.
Yeah, that's what we love about live broadcasts. And just to remind everybody, we've got the book. It's in Amazon. You can hit click, you add to cart, and then the little number that says how many you want to order. It defaults to one, but go plus 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 plus. Get a few of these. The price is right, and you're going to have the perfect gift because you just never know when
I
someone's
think
going to
it is
show
a
up.
perfect gift. You're right. So I'm sorry, before I so bluntly cut
Just, just,
myself
just,
off
just
there.
yeah.
But you put this with those things, and they're like, I got it. I
Mhm.
want that. I would absolutely do that. I would absolutely buy that. And so it's interesting because when I wrote it, I didn't intend it for that. This was really something that just came to me and I had fun with while I was sitting in lines for a while. And
Mhm.
then as it's come out, it's been really cool to see people adopt it and do different things with it. And my favorite part is the pictures of the kids reading
Mhm.
books, and I have many friends who picked this up and have shared this with me, and they immediately send me a picture with the kid, and that's cool, man.
Well,
That's
tell us a
really
little bit about the story. What's going on in the inside? We don't want to give it all away, but
it's 30 seconds of heaven reading this book. No, it's basically a mom and dad, the baby and his sister in a barbecue joint, and
Mhm.
what happens quickly as they go through it. There we talk a little bit about some of the different food items. You see the pit master, you see the kids all covered over in barbecue sauce, which frankly I love this picture. I think the illustrator did a really, really great job.
Yeah. I love the style. I love that
Yeah,
style.
super cool.
Mhm.
And then I've got a little Easter egg tucked in there from one of my barbecue friends from Grand Prairie, Zavala's Barbecue. But yeah,
Oh, I love it. I love
yeah,
that.
yeah. But that's the experience. And frankly, as a family man myself, I've read hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books
Mhm,
that are like this, at least small. Topic wise, I've never read one like this. And for me, I mean, again, as a dad, this is fun, and this is the type of thing that I want to share with my kid, and I want my kids to see when they were small, and just really, really kind of engage with it. Really fun.
mhm. Well, I just commend you on actually taking an idea while you're standing in line, that is to write the book, and you actually made it happen, and I'll just stop and say, hello to Inger. She's, watching, from up in Canada, so good
Hi,
to see
Amber.
you, Inger. So, yeah, so you're reading or you're there in line, and you're having these experiences, and you think, "Oh, this would make a great book."
Yeah.
Have you written other books?
Actually, I have. It's so funny that this would be the first one,
Yeah.
because I think every author has a book in their back pocket, right? Or
Mhm,
many. And for me, years ago when my kids were young, I wrote several books, and they're of this style,
mhm,
but nothing like this book. And so, as I look back at them, particularly after the experience of going through this with Adriel and Liz Lawless, I'm kind of like, okay, I now know my steps and I know what we need to go through to get there. This would be interesting to see how some of these other things could be brought to life. But I've also got I've also got a diary of all things. So, a quick story: my when my son was in Boy Scouts, we went hiking and we were up in New Mexico at Philmont. If you're familiar with Boy Scouts and Eagle Scouts, they go to Philmont, which is a huge hiking thing. And the boys chose to go on the 100-mile hike.
okay.
100 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to say we went 115 when it was all said and done because we got lost multiple times as we were doing that because you follow. But I kept the diary of it.
Okay.
It if boy.
So you've got the so you're gonna serialize that, and then, we'll find it on Netflix in a 6-episode series probably.
You'll probably be there for about 6 episodes, but you might see 2 before they cancel it.
Oh, that's
No.
great. Yeah, taking the concept and, but getting connected up with somebody to actually help you. So tell us about that experience, and how did you find Liz and the
Wow.
folks?
So, that was a challenge, because as I said, I've written this before. I've submitted to, publishing companies years ago and was rejected,
Mhm.
and I think I found that mo
That's
recent.
unique.
Yeah.
I mean, you read the stories, right? I mean, it's everybody's got like, J.K. Rowling, right? Yeah. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
100 people said no, or 100 times she got rejected, right? Whatever.
Well, I work with news and pitch news reporters and different things
Mhm.
all the time, and I was like, "I got this. This is
Sure.
easy," and wrote this great pitch letter and submitted it and got rejected, and I was like, "Oh, I suck. This is terrible. I'm never gonna be able to do this," and stopped and kinda set it aside, and actually, that's one of the books that I wanna do next, but, um, the opportunity here really came about after a lot of different visits that I had done and a lot of research, and you know how confusing it is to do that research online about authors.
Mhm.
And lo and behold, a really good friend of mine published a book, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, who was your publisher? I would
Mhm.
really like to talk to them and understand more." And Liz was that was how I met Liz Lawless, and that was how I learned about Adriel Publishing. And, boy, what was cool about that is, Liz is great. She's very knowledgeable, and it made things much easier for me at the end of the day as I was going
Mhm,
through all of this. Because like I said, if you take someone out of that mix, if you take a Liz out of the mix, if you take somebody who can guide you out of that mix, it's confusing. I would have spent so much money on stupid things that I thought that I needed because I didn't have anybody to ask,
mhm.
"What is this?" I don't even know if I would have gotten ISBN numbers or understood what Bowker was, which I don't know if
Sure.
I really do understand what Bowker is, to be honest with you, but that's where Liz comes in and kinda helps me make sense of all that
Oh,
stuff.
absolutely. There's a lot of components, right? And we do what we do, and we're good at what we're good at. And so we say, go turn to the expert, right? I mean, when I need to go to the doctor, I want someone that's got an MD hanging on the wall.
Absolutely.
I don't want someone like me who's like, oh, I learned it all on video online videos. I'm good.
Well, and it was a big help. It was
Mhm,
absolutely a big help, and, the other thing about that work was, in my mind, it was 'cause I have a full-time job, and in my mind, it was like, I'm not really sure how quickly I'm gonna be able to get any of this done, and her
mhm.
knowledge and ability to cut through everything and just drag me to the end, into the end zone, it was like, "Alright, this is the way to go."
Well, let's have you hold up the book again, and let's look. I'm gonna look at the front and the back because the images are great. And it's one thing to write, especially a children's book. The other thing is to actually find an artist to that will take what you have in your brain and actually make it real. How let's how did you find your artist and talk about that experience?
So that was another one of those experiences, honestly, before I started to work with Liz. I had an illustrator in mind, and
Mhm,
she was fantastic, and she had never done a children's book,
mhm,
and her price was pretty high.
sure.
And so once I started to talk to Liz about it and kind of lay out the idea, Liz was like, "I know who to work with." And found the illustrator. And
Mm,
once he started to draw, I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is it." And so, I have enough of an understanding of graphic design and the vision of where I wanna go, where I could at least provide some feedback through this
mhm,
process. And actually, this, for instance, it was like I knew where is it? Right there. I knew that pacifier was gonna be down there on the front of this. The minute that I saw this, it was like, "There's gotta be a pacifier down there. I need a baby bottle over here."
mhm,
We see the baby,
yeah,
and Liz and I talked about this. I think the baby was on the inside, and I was like, "No, you gotta put that baby on the outside on the back cover.
mhm,
You have to be able to see the baby." And, it was good because of the give and take and the ability to change some of the things that are inside here. You know how hard it is to draw a brisket? It's really, really hard.
I would think so. Mhm.
It was not briskety at first. It looked like a lump of chocolate, it didn't work, but we were able to go through it and do some different things. And, heck, even this part here with the dad sneaking a slice of
Oh, yeah, there you go.
there's some intricacies involved in trying to make dad look sneaky
Mhm,
and hold that hand in the right place. And
yeah,
so, there's that really helped us out. I think a lot. A little dental floss on there. You got to have some dental floss with your barbecue, and that was another one
mhm.
of those things that I had to have happen. So it was
I
good.
Yeah, it's a children's book's one of the things that, makes a good children's book is that the parents don't mind reading it, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're a parent, uh, one thing is that you're not only gonna read that book and you want it to be enjoyable, you're gonna read that book a lot. If the kids like it, you're gonna be reading that book every night.
Yep.
So tell us about the parents' experience of reading this book.
So I'm so glad that you said that. I have read, as I said, so many books to my
Mhm,
kid. when they were younger. My kids are grown and moved out of the house, but I write every day for part of my job, and I had read those books every night when they were kids.
Mhm.
And for me, it was the book that entertained me as much as it did the kid that I
Mhm.
wanted to go back to and look at again. And this book for me does that exact same thing. There's no moral. There's no redeem there's no lesson. There's nothing in this but a fun time of a family eating barbecue, and
Mhm.
isn't that what we all need at the end of the day?
I
No,
love that.
but seriously, I wanted it to be that way because, I can read a book, anybody can read a book, and a kid's book especially, and when there's a lesson that's written into the book, you can
Mhm.
see that lesson coming a mile away.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, it's like, "Okay, I got it. That's good. Yay." I mean, something like this, you just read it, you get through it, you go back, you go, "That was a fun, quick story. Let's do it again. Oh, look, there's dental floss. Hey, kids, let's go." When you're bigger, let's floss those teeth. Look, the baby did it in Baby's First BBQ. You gotta floss, so
The other thing that I see with this story is that you're gonna read the book, but then you're gonna go out and experience it. So, even if you live in Oregon, you can find a barbecue joint somewhere around, right? And,
I don't know
I
about
can go
that.
over to Cascade Barbecue. And they're pretty good. But I'm thinking, my kids are out of the house, but when grandkids come along, we get the book, we'll read Baby's First Barbecue, and then when we actually get that chance to go to the barbecue, are we gonna be able to live your book in real life?
Oh my gosh, totally. Totally. Pretty much every step of it, from walking in, from, ordering, from making your choices, to the kids covered over in barbecue sauce. And then, as I said, getting all the way to the end, I think one of the things that I even really worked to slip into this, let me find this, was the mom and the dad standing in line for barbecue. Can you see that there, Scott? Let me get that.
Yep. Mhm.
Which, if you look a little closely, oops,
There
that's
you go.
that's Brisket and Maine. That's the name of the street that this is at. This is a real place.
Really? Okay.
This is a real place that you can experience in Grand Prairie, Texas at Zavala's Barbecue. But it's that whole thing, that whole scene that just cracks me up. You can absolutely live all of that and stand outside in line or go straight in with your kids at some of the
Mhm.
other locations. So there's a variety of experiences that happen inside
I
this.
love that. So 50 barbecue
Yes, sir.
joints, 15,500 miles in 3 years?
First time, yeah. I would
The
say,
first time?
yeah. Yeah, the first time it was 3 years, the second time it was 1 year. Uh,
Okay. Mhm.
so the reason that it took so long that first time was, there was this little thing called a pandemic,
Oh, yeah.
and it
Mhm.
kinda slowed things down because barbecue places were closed. And I almost didn't get to go to the last one.
Wow.
And, I actually, so the way that you do this is you would take this book, and every time that you would go, you get a little stamp, so it proves that you went.
Mm,
I
mhm.
had been to 49 of them, and number 50 was closed, and that's Snow's Barbecue in Lexington. And Snow's is really well known. That's the one that I told you I sat on the park
Right. Yeah.
at 5 p.m. and did that
Yeah.
on, adult
Camping
camping.
camping out, yeah.
It was great. Um, and I was watching a TV show about snows with my wife, and I had not been. And the story of snows is amazing because they have a pitmaster there who is 80, now 89 years old.
Mm,
89 years old. She comes Saturday morning at 2 to 4 a.m. and works her tail off until they open up. There's other people there at the restaurant that help
mhm,
set things up, but she gets there, and she is an amazing, amazing woman. And they were telling her name is Tootsie Tominets, and they're telling her story. And I kind of got a little choked up because I knew I wasn't going to get to go. And my wife goes, "You're crying." And I was like, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." A little sniff here and there. And a week later, they opened up, and I was the first. I was first in line. I
Mhm,
got there at like midnight, I think it was. Got there that night, and then that was it. I was hooked. After that, that's one of the most unique barbecue experiences you'll ever have in
mhm.
your life. And then a new list came out shortly after that, and that was when I did it again in a year. It's a good
Mhm.
time. It's a good time, Scott. Come to Texas.
Uh,
I got
uh, I'm
places.
there,
You
I'm there.
you text me. I got you covered.
You have you have, I'm gonna just put this up here. So we got this, here's the book. We got Greg. Greg, how do I pronounce your last name correctly?
Art Cop. Just
Arcop,
like it
alright.
looks, it's a
I'm
little
good, good.
scary because of all the craziness in there, but, it's just pronounced Art Cop.
Okay, alright. Well, we've got, Greg Art Cop's book.
There you go.
Baby's First BBQ. Look at that. We got the baby bottle, the pacifier. That is cornbread, I'm assuming, and some great barbecue there. It is available right here on Amazon. And so just I'm telling people, you got to click add to cart. What do you I guarantee you that people that are watching this have not many of them haven't even started their Christmas shopping and today is the 18th of December.
Dude, I'll tell you what, I think Amazon has been to my house 3 times a day for the past month, and some of them have been deliveries of this book, but
That's good.
we are on a first name basis with our Amazon people. It's
Well, that's good.
great.
They're good folks. They're working hard, and everyone should treat them well. But as we kind of wind down here with this book, and congratulations,
Thank
and I'm envious of the research because most of the research is done in libraries and an online. You were able to escape that and have much more fun.
In the field,
Yeah.
on the porch, in the smoke.
That's right, and you can tell your family that, gotta work on the 2nd edition, gotta work on the 3rd edition, make it into a series, but,
So many opportunities here.
yeah, but, a great book for families, a great book to create opportunities to create those memories, and, kids grow fast, I'm an empty nester, you're an empty nester, it was not that long ago when our babies were first, just a little handful, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I got some references to them inside the book, which was kind of nice and touching just to be able to remember the fun that I had with them, like I said, in midnight many
Yeah,
midnight book readings with my kids. I mean, I right outside my office over here, I've got the stack of the old books, and I'm super excited to put this one out there, so
yeah. Well, any grandkids yet?
no, but, I'm about 9 months away at any day.
Well, congratulations. That's gonna be good. I know the first book will be the first barbecue book.
Actually, yeah, yeah, yeah. Grandpa's gonna sit you down, and we're gonna read Baby's First Barbecue over and over and over again. It's
Yeah,
right.
and, a signed first edition. That's gonna be a good book.
Yeah, I get so many requests for autographs, Scott, seriously, and they're like, "You gonna sign that in barbecue?" And I'm like, "Or barbecue sauce?" I'm like, "Yeah, if you want it."
Oh, all right. So it's the first print on demand audible or edible book. Not audible. It's edible. So
New
you,
opportunity, there you go.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure Amazon's going to come up with a new category, edible books, right here. Um,
It's a great idea.
so tell us the last few things that you want everyone to remember from the book and your journey and
Sure.
you know.
I think the most important thing that I want people to remember is that you can do this. Uh,
Mhm.
it's challenging, but if you focus on it and you've got a pretty clear vision of what you want to achieve, you can do this.
Yeah.
This is a small first step for me. I
Mhm.
think there will be more and different things going forward. I know Liz is excited to hear me say that right now.
Indeed.
But you can do this. And
Mhm.
the other thing I think I want people to remember is eat more barbecue because man, it's awesome.
Well, you're in the heart of real barbecue country, and Greg, it's just been fabulous getting to know you and learning a little bit more about the background on the book. And I look forward to having grandkids myself and being able to read Baby's First Barbecue, First BBQ, right there, uh, and sharing that with them. Remind everybody it is in the carousel. You can click on it, you can add it to cart, you can have it sent directly as a gift. Get your shopping done right now. Maybe you've got 50 people on your gift, hit 50, send it to them. You'll be the hero. And with that, we'll just sign out for now. Greg, hang out in the green room here, and I'll be right with you.
Sounds great. Thank you,
Thank
Scott. Appreciate it.
Well, there it is. Baby's First Barbecue. What could be better than that? This is a perfect gift. Great illustrations, fun story, and create memories with your family. And buy the book, Baby Source Barbecue. With that, we're going to sign off. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Wishing everyone well. Cheers.